We should have known that Miley and Liam wouldn't last. Miley has always been a firecracker of a woman, and Liam has always felt more like chill. They were a really cute couple though. They starred in the film The Last Song together in 2009, that's also how they met. They dated for a bit in 2009, then broke up in 2010, then got back together later in the year, then break up, just as usual, like an on again, off again kind of deal. They did get engaged in 2012, but it wasn't exactly smooth sailing. There were lots of rumors that the pair had broken up, the wedding got postponed, until eventually the whole thing was called off. In this break is when Miley tweeted the famous, "I want to see the new Hunger Games, but that means I'll have to look at my ex for 2 hours" tweet. I love this tweet. This is referencing Liam's role as Gale in the Hunger Games trilogy. The pair eventually got back together in 2016 and got engaged again, and then finally in 2018 are married. Even this new chapter of this relationship had some signs. There was that video from the Avengers Endgame red carpet where Liam said something to Miley that caused her to push him off. Many people think he said something like, "Could you behave for once?" The pair divorced a few months after this carpet. Without Miley Cyrus dating Liam Hemsworth, we never would have gotten the banger Flowers, and Miley never would have received her first Grammy, so it all worked out in the end. Technically, Taylor Swift and Matty Healy never confirmed they dated, but they were seen out together a lot. And Taylor's relationship announcements have never been a big, "Hello world, we are dating." It's always been more speculation until it's a couple months in, then she'll give hints and do public displays. Maddie and Taylor were only seen around each other for about a month to maybe 2 months. Before this, the pair were just friends, we know that for sure. People thought the pair were dating because they were spotted out at a bunch of restaurants. Taylor randomly performed at a 1975 concert, and Maddie was spotted at the Eras tour a few nights. This is also similar to what happened with Travis Kelce and Joe Alwyn, minus the surprise performance of course, so that's why everyone was looking at this pair extra close. The thing is, Matty Healy has an on-stage persona that is controversial to say the least. He famously did the Yahtzee with an N salute on stage. It was supposed to be satire, apparently. He also made some racially insensitive remarks about Ice Spice, who is friends with Taylor and collaborated with her on Karma. Taylor and Maddie were rumored to be dating way back in 2014, around Taylor's 1989 era. It also produced a quote from Maddie that came back to haunt him. He said it would be emasculating to date Taylor. Taylor's fans were not the happiest about this particular relationship, and because of this, Taylor and Maddie stopped appearing in public together pretty quick. We still don't know if they were actually dating or not. I guess we'll never know. Billie Eilish and Jesse Rutherford started dating in 2022, first seen together in a romantic setting on October 13th. People were quick to comment on their age gap and also Billie's young age in general. They have a 10-year age gap, and Billie was about 20 or 21 when they started dating, but they had known each other since she was 15 years old at least. Lots of people saw that as a little weird. Their Halloween costume from 2022 had people talking. All the comments people made about their age gap, they seemed to use as inspiration, with Billie going as a baby and Jesse as an old man. Many people thought it was a weird choice. So there's a lot of criticism towards this couple from the outside, but there were also signs from the inside too. On her 2021 album Happier Than Ever, Billie has a track called Your Power. It is about people taking advantage of younger people in relationships and those with power over someone else using it to their advantage to hurt the other person in some way. Of course, this is just what fans have gathered from the lyrics. The song features lyrics like, "She was sleeping in your clothes, but now she's got to get to class," and "You swear you didn't know, you said you thought she was your age." The song was released about a year before Jesse came into the picture, and many people expressed that fact, wondering why Billie got into a relationship with such a big age gap when she's seemingly written that she wasn't fond of them. The pair were only together for about 8 months, but are on good terms, as confirmed by Billie on her Instagram story. Like Billie and Jesse, Olivia Rodrigo was also in a relationship that had people looking twice at the age gap. This one wasn't as bad, I guess, but it still was amazing by any means. She was 18 when they started dating and he was 24, so only 6 years. While that's not as big of a gap as we've seen elsewhere, it's not small either, and many Olivia fans were concerned as the pair were first spotted out together in June and Olivia had just turned 18 a few months ago. It was all around just a situation that rubbed people the wrong way. So again, this couple has a lot of outside pressure and criticism against them, plus Olivia Rodrigo is a major Taylor Taylor Swift fan, that is no secret. Taylor famously dated, then allegedly wrote her album Speak Now about John Mayer. That relationship was also one with a big age gap, with the girl being very young. Maybe Olivia heard Taylor's warnings in the songs. The two leading stars of the Disney Channel original film High School Musical, Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron, famously dated. This was the Brangelina of my childhood. I remember learning about what actors were, and then learning that not only was my favorite couple dating in the movie, but also in real life. They were like the royal family to me. Still, they were so young when they met and started dating, plus they weren't your regular small town high school sweethearts. They lived in Hollywood. They were making movies. Being that young and probably having to spend so much time apart would put a strain on any relationship. Zac and Vanessa were together about 5 years before calling it quits. E! News had some inside sources confirm the breakup wasn't dramatic like the scenes from the movies, nothing like Gotta Go My Own Way from High School Musical 2. The Insider also noted that they were together for so long it just ran its course. Disney has a track record of encouraging the stars of their various shows and movies to date. It happened with Dove Cameron and her ex Ryan McCartan, Joe Jonas and Demi Lovato. Zac and Vanessa were both 18 while filming High School Musical, and there was all this outside pressure and even proposal rumors that would be enough to put a lot of strain on the relationship. Luckily, it looks like the pair are still on good terms. Vanessa just announced her pregnancy in the Oscars red carpet, then later posted about it on Instagram. Zac commented, "She's killing it. I couldn't be happier for V. Zanessa, you will always be famous." Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling worked together on the iconic film The Notebook and soon brought that chemistry from the silver screen to real life. They dated from 2005 to 2007, but from the beginning their relationship was rocky. Every fan of The Notebook probably remembers the moment they found out that Rachel and Ryan hated each other at the start of filming that movie. Ryan apparently tried to get Rachel fired and even requested that for one scene, Rachel was taken off set and a different actress gets brought in to read her lines. It was serious, okay? Even the director has confirmed that the two did not get along. Movie budgets and timelines are tight though, so there needed to be a fix made here, so apparently Ryan, Rachel, a producer, and the director went in a room together. Ryan and Rachel screamed it out and then they were fine, eventually more than fine. They started dating in 2005, a year after the film came out. They had some pretty iconic moments, for example, when they recreated their iconic Notebook kiss after winning Best Kiss at the MTV Movie and TV Awards. Unfortunately, in 2007, the relationship ended apparently pretty similar to how it started. Ryan said in an interview that "the only thing I remember is we both went down swinging and we called it a draw," adding in a later interview that show business is the bad guy. When both people are in show business, it's too much show business. It takes all of the light so nothing else can grow. That's fair. We should have known that their relationship would go out blazing if that's how it started. Another iconic couple born from iconic roles in an iconic franchise. We are talking about Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, Twilight's Bella and Edward. The pair first met in 2007 but didn't officially start dating until 2009, we think. They kissed in 2009. A producer for Twilight did an interview with Time in 2010 in which he said that he hopes the pair stay together through filming the remainder of the movies. 2 more left, and that's a lot of pressure to put on a relationship. It would suck if you thought a relationship had run its course, but you felt you had to stay together to not mess up a big movie franchise. There was some infidelity on Kristen's part that a former president actually weighed in on. Sure enough, the pair did stay together until just after the last Twilight film came out. Years later, Kristen did say in an interview that she felt her relationship with Robert had been made into a product, so it really shouldn't have come as a surprise that as soon as the franchise was done, the two called it quits. They are both so okay now. Kristen is bi and engaged to screenwriter Dylan Mayer, no relation to Stephanie Meyer, author of Twilight. I did look it up because it was like, there's no way. Robert is also engaged to a woman, the actress and singer Suki Waterhouse. They are expecting a child together. Jelena, the it couple of the 2010s, Selena Gomez was a Disney star and starting up her music career, and Justin Bieber was one of the biggest teen heartthrobs of the era. They dated or were kinda dating for 8 years before shocking the world when they broke up in 2018. But there were signs. Probably the most neon flashing light sign was that they were so on and off. In the last about 4 years of their relationship, they were taking a lot of breaks. Justin briefly dated now wife Hailey Baldwin during one of those splits. This is kind of like Zac and Vanessa. They were both so young and they had so much pressure on them from the outside. I also remember lots of people were caught up with their age gap. Their age gap was only 2 years. He was 16 when they met and she was 18. It really wasn't that bad. Their love story was an exciting one to follow. Justin literally rented out an entire stadium so the two could watch a movie together. The pair were seen on what is thought to be their first date in 2010. Things went relatively smoothly until 2014. This is the year Justin was arrested and Selena checked into rehab for lupus. They were split up by this point. Justin dates a bunch of models, Selena some other music artists, but then they get seen together again and are apparently back together in 2017. But by 2018, they are really over because Justin gets married. Although Justin apparently, allegedly, called Selena before the wedding 23 times. Obviously, we don't have the tapes to really prove it, but Selena hinted at the then rumor in her song Ring, so it's up to you what you want to think. Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande had a whirlwind of a romance back in 2018. The pair only dated for about 6 months and almost got married, but it didn't start on the most solid foundation, so it's no wonder they didn't last. Pete had been in a relationship with fellow comedian and writer Cassie David before dating Ariana, like a day before Pete first stepped out with Ariana. Pete and Cassie had decided to take a break for about 2 weeks. Cassie called Pete after the first couple days though, saying she wanted to work things out, but he wanted to continue the break. He broke up with her over text 2 days later, then a day after Pete and Ariana were out together. It was a messy timeline, that's for sure, and it did not make Ariana and Pete look too good. Pete and Ariana ended up calling it quits because Ariana wasn't taking the passing of Mac Miller so well, so there wasn't any bad blood in the initial breakup. That came after. Ariana said in Vogue that she considered Pete to be a distraction, and Pete responded equally as publicly in his Netflix comedy special. The entire relationship moved pretty quick. The pair moved in together a month-ish after beginning to date, with the engagement happening around the same time. They just also happened to move quickly into the breakup phase too. Kim and Kanye used to be the top Hollywood couple. Whether you like them or not, you couldn't deny their star power. No marriage is perfect, of course, but they seem to be doing pretty good. So their split came as a bit of a surprise when it was announced in 2021 that the couple was getting divorced. The show Keeping Up with the Kardashians shed some light on why exactly the couple split up, and they make sense. I'm surprised that we, the public, didn't see this coming. Kim shared with her sisters that she does think Kanye is an amazing dad, but he moves around so much and she can't keep up with that side of him. She needs to stay where she is. There was also the harsh and aggressive tweets Kanye directed towards Kim's mom, Kris Jenner. Kanye has always been known to act a bit unhinged. There was the Taylor Swift mic incident at the VMAs that he said God told him to do, manipulating that infamous phone conversation with Taylor Swift, seemingly supportive tweets toward a convicted SA perpetrator, portraying various celebrities nude, some without their consent, and sharing his controversial opinions on the experience of black people in America. There were just a lot of things that make you go, okay Kim, I get it.
Number 10. Liza Koshi and David Dobrik. I remember the cultural reset this announcement caused. I mean, at first I thought it was a joke. There was no way that these two would ever break up. Well, you know, it wasn't a joke. And thank goodness, because after their breakup, Liza's career skyrocketed and David's, well, you know David. The two started dating in 2015 on the rise of both of their YouTube fame. David and his vlog squad, and Liza with the colorful array of characters she manufactured herself. They would frequently appear in each other's videos and were definitely one of the happiest seeming couples. Everything was perfect until it wasn't. In 2018, the infamous breakup video dropped. The pair said that their breakup was amicable and that they had decided a couple months prior that they would simply be better off as platonic friends. Number 9. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. This star-powered pair first met in 2004 while filming their movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, while Brad was married to Jennifer Aniston. Rumors of a relationship began to circle on set, and shortly after the movie, Pitt and Aniston announced their separation after 5 years of marriage. By July of 2005, the pair was spotted together and confirmed their relationship. 10 years after meeting, the two got married in 2014. However, you could call their wedding the calm before the storm. Jolie filed for divorce from Pitt in 2016, citing irreconcilable differences, and providing no comments to news outlets or prying eyes, which she did for the privacy of her family. She's an amazing mother and a fantastic woman. Icon for life, honestly. Number 8. Nina Dobrev and Ian Somerhalder. Ian Somerhalder and Nina Dobrev shared the screen for 6 seasons as Damon Salvatore and Elena Gilbert on The Vampire Diaries. Interestingly, their on-screen chemistry extended to real life as they became romantically involved from 2010 to 2013, despite Dobrev's initial intention to maintain a strictly professional approach on set. In an interview with 17 in October 2012, Dobrev confessed that she resisted the idea of dating a co-star, but acknowledged that sometimes connections were inevitable. Throughout their relationship, the couple kept a relatively low profile, occasionally giving glimpses of their romance during trips and music festivals. Despite parting ways in 2013, they managed to sustain both a professional and personal connection after the breakup. Number 7. Tim Burton and Helena Bonham Carter. Tim Burton and Helena Bonham Carter shared a unique and definitely eccentric partnership, both in their professional and romantic lives. Their collaboration began on the set of Planet of the Apes in 2001 and extended to 8 films, including some of my favorite movies like Corpse Bride and Todd. Despite their long collaboration and personal connection, the couple chose not to marry, opting for a distinctive living arrangement in London's Belsize Park. They maintained separate houses, joined by a hallway, with Bonham Carter revealing in 2010 that the decision was due to the small size of her home. She explained that the arrangement of separate living allowed them to balance togetherness with personal space, jokingly adding that Burton's snoring was a noteworthy aspect of their unconventional housing situation. While their professional collaboration was incredible and extremely successful, Bonham Carter still acknowledged that it wasn't always smooth sailing. In an interview, she admitted that her working relationship had its challenges, particularly during the filming of Sweeney Todd, where the two were known to often argue. The couple, parents to 2, eventually separated in 2014, ending their extraordinary cinematic and personal journey together. Number 6. Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson, an iconic couple from 2008 to 2011, shared a very high-profile marriage before parting ways. In a candid interview with Time Out New York in December 2009, Johansson disclosed the challenges of balancing their hectic schedules. She emphasized the difficulties in their respective profession and the struggle to allocate time for family amidst their demanding careers. This revelation must have marked a turning point as the couple officially announced their separation in 2010, finalizing their divorce in July of 2011. While the end of their marriage was undoubtedly a significant chapter, it paved the way for personal and professional growth for both of them. Post-divorce, Ryan Reynolds found love anew, tying the knot with Blake Lively in 2012, and thank goodness, because they're my favorite celebrity couple. They are so funny and their tweets are so, I love them, I love them. They make me believe in love. Is that sad? I don't know. I have divorced parents, whatever. Anyway, Scarlett Johansson entered a new chapter by marrying Saturday Night Live head writer Colin Jost in 2020. It was a happy ending for everyone. Number 5. Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet, once the epitome of a relaxed and harmonious couple, revealed their separation in 2022, marking the end of their nearly 17-year-long relationship. The couple, known for prioritizing their blended family, included Bonet's ex-husband Lenny Kravitz and daughter Zoe Kravitz, along with their shared children Lola and Nakoa Wolf. Mamoa had long harbored admiration for Bonet, dating back to his childhood when he first saw her on The Cosby Show. Their paths crossed in 2005 at a jazz club, and the pair welcomed their first child together 2 years later. Despite keeping their marriage under wraps until 2017, the couple stunned fans by announcing their separation after nearly 5 years of marriage in January 2022. Insiders revealed that the decision to part ways was not abrupt, emphasizing that the couple had been amazing for years until they no longer were. Number 4. Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. After a 4-year marriage and the birth of 2 children, Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner decided to end their relationship. The formalities of their separation were set in motion when Jonas filed for a dissolution of marriage from Turner on September 5th, 2023, citing irreparable breakdown as the grounds for their parting ways. Addressing the end of their union, the couple took to Instagram the next day to reveal that the decision was a mutual one. Their romantic relationship began in 2016 when Sophie and Jonas connected through Instagram DMs. Despite initial reservations on Turner's part, an evening at a British pub brought them closer, leading to Jonas proposing a year later. In 2019, the couple celebrated their commitment with 2 ceremonies, a surprise event in Las Vegas and a grand affair in the French countryside. Turner once expressed that marriage had only strengthened their bond, providing a profound sense of security. The couple's family grew with the arrival of daughters Willa in 2020 and Delphine in 2022. Despite the joys and public declarations of love, their journey has reached its end and custody battles have ensued, and it doesn't really seem like they're all too happy with each other anymore. Number 3. Amy Poehler and Will Arnett. The paths of actors Amy Poehler and Will Arnett first crossed in the 1990s when Arnett witnessed a performance by Poehler's improv group in New York City, which just, wow, what a sentence. Although Arnett was smitten by Poehler, the two didn't embark on a romantic journey until friends reintroduced them to each other in 2000. Their professional lives became intertwined as they collaborated on various projects, ranging from portraying unconventional siblings in Blades of Glory to making guest appearances on each other's TV shows, Poehler on Parks and Recreation and Arnett on Arrested Development, which, I mean, both hilarious. Those are 2 of my favorite shows, especially Arrested Development, because Will Arnett's character Joe, fantastic, fantastic. In 2003, the couple exchanged vows, marking Poehler's inaugural marriage and Arnett's second after a brief stint with Penelope Ann Miller. The union blossomed into a family with the arrival of their 2 sons, Archie and Abel. Despite parting ways in 2012, Poehler and Arnett remained dedicated co-parents, retaining an amicable relationship. God, they must have been so funny together. What I would do to have been to a dinner party. That is, oh, be so good. Okay. Number 2. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. This amazing pair initially crossed paths as co-stars in The Amazing Spider-Man, where they co-starred as Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy, where they experienced a real-life romance mirroring their on-screen connection. Over a span of 4 years, they navigated their relationship through the filming of another Spider-Man installment and embarked on a global journey together for press. Despite their eventual breakup and subsequent individual pursuits, with Stone now happily married with a child and Garfield romantically linked to model Alyssa Miller, the bond they share endures. Retaining a genuine friendship, the two openly express their continued affection and admiration for one another. In a 2016 interview with Vogue, Stone conveyed that Garfield remains someone I still love very much. Garfield reciprocated the sentiment the following year in Vanity Fair, emphasizing the abundance of love and respect between them, asserting himself as her biggest fan as an artist. Oh, and his shot of espresso speech could bring me to tears. I would fold immediately if anyone ever spoke to me that way, or of me, I guess. Number 1. Ariana Grande and Dalton Gomez. In October 2023, the divorce of Dalton and Ari was finalized, which followed their publicized separation in July of last year. Oh my god, and it's last year now, that's insane. Grande and Gomez's relationship began during 2020 as they spent a considerable amount of time together, nurturing their connection. Despite the challenges posed by the global state at this time, Gomez proposed to Grande in December of 2020. On May 17th, 2021, it was confirmed that Grande and Gomez had secretly exchanged vows in their California home. Unfortunately, their union came to an end shortly after their 2-year anniversary mark. By July 20th, 2023, reports emerged that Grande had entered a new romantic chapter with her Wicked co-star in Slater. Sources disclosed that Grande and Slater began dating after her separation from Dalton in January. The relationship was described as recent, marked by fun and enjoyment of each other's company, although there was no official confirmation or announcement of a separation or divorce involving Slater and his wife beyond People's initial report.
Starting off our list today at number 10, we have infidelity. So Taylor Swift's breakups tend to be really messy, and when the star released her song High Infidelity, she pretty much hinted at the fact that she hasn't been 100% faithful in her previous relationships. With Taylor bringing up the topic of cheating and leaving a loveless relationship when she specifically mentioned April 29th was a major turning
turning point for the star. She didn't exactly mention what year made her come to this conclusion. With many fans curious of tracking down what may have happened to her that day, they have connected the dots back to two people. The first one being Calvin Harris, whom Swift reportedly dated for 15 months before splitting back in 2016. With April 29, 2016 also being the day the Scottish DJ released "This Is What You Came For," he would then tell Ryan Seacrest that Taylor was about to take a long break, and that same day she would be spotted shopping in New York City, preparing for the Met Gala which she was hosting, and at the May 2nd event she was then seen dancing with Tom Hiddleston, who she would go on to date later that summer, which then went on to hint that she may have cheated on Calvin with Tom, and when it came to Tom and Taylor's relationship, that also ended quick, and she would then jump into a relationship with Joe, which also has fans speculating that Taylor cheated on Tom with Joe, and it now has them wondering if she possibly just recently cheated on Joe. But honestly, would we really be mad at the fact, as he's just a little too basic when you compare him to the previous guys she's dated before. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. Number 9, the deleted cat pics. So even when couples are together, sometimes we see them delete pictures of each other because they just didn't match the mood of their Instagram feed. And while breakups tend to happen, when you have to scrub everything from your page, including pictures of their animals, then it's clear things really didn't end as well as you were hoping for. With fans heading to Instagram and other social media outlets to find out if the pair actually did split, with some remaining hopeful that the split was just all a rumor, many fans would then be heartbroken to find out that the rumors might just be true after they pointed out that Joe has removed all of the photos he had of Taylor Swift's cats. And it really makes you ask, in the process, what did the poor innocent cats do, Joe? Number 8, swap songs. If you were one of the lucky people who were able to score a Taylor Swift era ticket after the whole Ticketmaster scandal, then you know if you were at Taylor's March 31st show, things definitely went a little different than they have in the previous shows. Fans were surprised at her show in Texas after they noticed Taylor Swift swapped out her song Invisible String for The One during the folklore part of her show. Fans would then point out that the star could have done this to drop some major Easter eggs to confirm that her and Joe have officially broken up. With Invisible String being about two soulmates, fans have pointed out that the song could have been about Joe, and that's why she swapped the song for The One, which is ironically enough about a breakup, which is about a former lover and how Taylor was still mourning the loss of that love. When news of her breakup started to emerge, this is when fans speculated that the two were significantly related, as they started to flood to Twitter to say, is this why she switched Invisible String for The One? And with the star playing her new set list since, it's not really hard to see why people think this. Number 7, crying during champagne problems. During Taylor Swift's recent show, the singer has visibly been emotional during Champagne Problems, a song which is about a woman turning down her lover's proposal. With a video on TikTok going viral over the incident, has now gained over 3.4 million views as it shows Taylor's eyes glistening during the rendition. With fans soon taking to Twitter to make comments about the incident, one fan would question if the rumors surrounding Taylor and Joe's relationship were true when she said, "Is this why she was crying during Champagne Problems? Because they broke up. Stop now, I refuse to believe this." However, TikTok users were less than convinced, after some even pointed out Taylor was crying because she just performed Marjorie. So she was just emotional when she was singing Champagne Problems because she was still thinking about her grandmother. With Evermore also being based on her real feelings that the star has also experienced, TikTok users have also said that the star could have just become really emotional here because of the crowd. Number 6, silence. When neither Joe and Taylor or their representatives making a comment on the pair's breakup officially, well yet. We all know the comments are coming very shortly, as there have been a number of so-called inside sources close to the couple that have been spilling all the tea surrounding the couple's breakup to various media outlets, which can only assume that these rumors have also come with the permission of either Taylor or Joe, or both. With one source close to Taylor telling CNN that the couple's relationship simply just grew apart and that they were planning to remain good friends, ET would also post a similar report where they would note that apparently Joe and Taylor's split was amicable. With there being so much unknown due to the couple's silence, it's not really surprising, as they did tend to keep things pretty private. However, with saying that, you definitely know that we're going to keep you up to date as soon as an official statement is made, or most likely when Taylor finally drops a couple more Easter eggs while she's on tour for her Eras tour. 5, missing. So if you've been on TikTok this past week, then you are well aware of all the Easter eggs Swift fans have been uncovering, to the point that it's cleared, Joe and Taylor have in fact ended their 6-year relationship. And with it, a lot of us have been pointing out that throughout the Eras tour, Joe hasn't been spotted backstage doing any support of Olivia Wilde like dancing for Taylor Swift's first few shows, and he's been missing in the weeks to come. With many fans freaking out about the state of the pair's relationship since the start of Taylor's show due to Joe's presence missing, maybe fans were right to start freaking out about the pair's relationship, as there was clearly something going on, and it was the start of all of their relationship problems. With the former couple in the beginning stating that Joe just wasn't around as much due to scheduling issues, while we all wish the actor was just missing because of a filming conflict, it just seems like that wasn't the case. Number 4. Unfollow Joe. With everybody deep diving into Taylor and Joe's relationship and what have may gone wrong, other fans have been trying to find out if the couple really did break up, or is this just press clickbait sort of thing. However, what many fans haven't noticed is that Taylor actually ended up unfollowing Joe at the start of all this drama, and it wasn't really suspicious as the star did it in a less sneaky way. If you head over to Taylor Swift's Instagram profile, you may have noticed that the star recently unfollowed everyone on the platform, including her best friend Selena Gomez. With the star unfollowing everyone including Joe, it made things not really suspicious, but now that their split has become a trending topic, it makes you wonder when the star chose to unfollow everyone, why she chose to unfollow everyone, and why her and Joe decided to call it quits. Number 3. The Ring. With the release of Taylor's newest album, Midnights, the internet would start to speculate that Taylor and Joe were engaged, as millions of fans couldn't help but zoom in on images and videos of Taylor's ring finger after the star was spotted wearing a pear-shaped diamond engagement ring in her documentary Miss Americana, with the engagement ring appearing to have a thin band in a white gold or platinum in a large stunning pear diamond. In the process, we all knew we wouldn't expect to see this beautiful ring always out and about. But recently it seems like even when Taylor isn't in a big venue, the ring has completely disappeared from her finger, which makes it abundantly clear that the couple is trying to keep their split behind closed doors, and we probably won't see them make any comments about their split until Taylor decides she wants to put it on her next album. But honestly, the whole missing ring thing is seriously some major tea. Number 2. Engagement comments. When Taylor Swift and Joe's relationship hit a high point in the tabloids back in 2022, Joe would come out to address all the speculation surrounding the idea that he secretly proposed to Taylor Swift. But with it, he honestly keeps things really sus. With Joe playing things super coy, he would kind of make a joke that kind of hinting that he was going to marry Taylor. He probably wouldn't go through with it when he said, "If I had a pound for every time I think I've been told I've been engaged, then I've had a lot of pound coins." He would then go on to say even if the rumors were true, he wasn't going to say anything, which was kind of hinting that he didn't even want to be in a relationship with Taylor, and even though he was with her, he wanted her to be his secret. When he said, "I mean, the truth is, if the answer was yes, I wouldn't say, and if the answer was no, I wouldn't say." Number 1. Quiet during the Selena scandal. Now that we've discovered that Taylor Swift has now split from her fiance Joe Alwyn, it makes a lot of sense to why she's been really quiet after the news started to break about the whole Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber scandal. With Taylor usually being the one to voice her opinions and fight back against the bullies, she stayed relatively quiet during this whole bullying thing, especially when videos started to emerge of Hailey Bieber gagging while making fun of Taylor Swift in the process. And maybe this is because Taylor has been so busy trying to focus on coping with the loss of Joe, and that she really just didn't have the time or energy to clap back at the Jenner sisters and Hailey in the process, which isn't really a Taylor thing to do. And maybe this is why we saw Selena come out and defend her friend in the process. Either way, I could just be diving into this issue way too deep. It could all just be a coincidence, but it does highlight something was going on with the star to prove why she's been missing from social media and why she's been pretty quiet these days.
At number 10, we have former acting couple Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher. The questionable age gap at the time of their relationship was already convincing enough for many to believe that their marriage would not make it to the end of time. The two met back when Demi was 25 and Ashton was 41, but the older star had 3 children closer in age to him than Demi was. With this fact in mind, there were also rumors of infidelity on his part and opening up their relationship to others that certainly did not help keep their marriage afloat. It's been reported by various sources that the most surprising outcome of the marriage ending is just how long it took for them to call it quits. Yikes. At number 9, we have another acting twosome who announced they were splitting yet again, at no real surprise for fans. Apparently the ex-spouses spouses were having an insane amount of marital issues for years before their separation. Alongside rumors of infidelity in their relationship, there were also apparently the tripling up of Ben's gambling and drinking problems. It probably didn't save their situation once Ben announced in his 2013 Oscar speech how he and Jennifer were working on their marriage at that point. Surely you may not all be that shocked to know, with all that information, that the two revealed the end of their marriage in 2015. At number 8, we have actress Gwyneth Paltrow and English singer-songwriter Chris Martin, who didn't make the public announcement that they decided to separate until 2014, following 10 whole years of marriage. There were very obvious signs between them that indicated they might not have been seeing a long future together, and it seems fans were undoubtedly right on the money. Not one of them was caught off guard due to the fact that they would not pose together on red carpets nor discuss one another in interviews they gave prior. In fact, when Gwyneth discussed her marriage in interviews, it was only to explain how hard it was for her to be married. Reportedly, there were cheating rumors involved with them, and they were broadcasted as another Hollywood couple with an open marriage. Regardless, the very obvious signs that things were donezo were clearly written in the stars long before the divorce papers were signed, stamped, and finalized. At number 7, we have actor Tom Cruise and actress Katie Holmes. Now, these two were somewhat of a wreck just waiting to happen, according to just about everybody. As soon as they went public with their love back in 2005, the public was already expecting a breakup to take place between the two of them. It was said to be mainly due to their age difference, but there were also loads of smaller issues that most likely played a huge part in their romantic demise. For one, Tom was 14 years Katie's senior, and there was the biggest and probably least surprising Scientology mess. Where Katie was brought up as a Catholic, Tom was heavily devoted to the practice of Scientology, which has its own slew of bad rumors and unethical practices and brainwashing techniques attached to its name. Then there was the fact that both Tom and Katie were at two very different places in their career at the time, which inevitably doomed their relationship from the get-go. Where Tom was a megastar hitting all the biggest screens, Katie was just up and coming as an actress. Surprisingly enough, their marriage remained intact for 6 whole years, but on the opposite end, no one was quite shocked to see it go. At number 6, we have former lovebirds from the second season of the reality series Love is Blind. Featured stars Danielle Rule and Nick Thompson are reportedly calling their marriage quit after a single year of being together. According to news sources that were scoped from multiple online documents, Danielle filed for divorce in Illinois on August 15th at the Cook County Circuit Court. The once seemingly happy duo met and fell in love on Netflix's dating show and went on to tie the knot in June 2021. Their season finale wedding was featured in the show, which was released in February of this year. However, they haven't publicly confirmed their split when news sources originally made the discovery and began publishing their stories. More so, Danielle is still listed as a Thompson in her Instagram bio and handle. On June 8th, the couple posted sweet tributes on Instagram to mark the celebration of their 1-year wedding anniversary, so things seemed okay at that time. In fact, Nick's post featured an image of him and Danielle at their wedding, with an explanation that although marriages broadcasted on TV are tough, he and Danielle are, quote, putting in the work to get to know each other and learn how to be partners for one another. The former spouses were the only pair of the two couples on season 2 of Love is Blind to end up tying the knot, as the opposite duo Ariana and Ret announced their plans to divorce just a few days after Danielle filed for her own separation paperwork, ironically enough. Many LIB fans were initially disappointed to know that these couples broke up, as season 1 couples Lauren and Cameron and Amber and Matthew are still together to this day. At number 5, we have the queen of pop Britney Spears and her ex-husband Kevin Federline. I think it's safe to say that once Britney first made the announcement that she would be walking down the aisle with her former backup dancer turned lover, the world seemingly knew they'd be a disaster waiting to crash. But people were surprised when Britney and Kevin began having children together. Still, fans were wickedly anticipating a divorce announcement from Britney and Kevin at the time. Their relationship lasted a brief 2 years before Britney apparently blindsided Kevin with her filing for divorce. However, supporters of the pop star weren't nearly as disturbed by it, of course. At number 4, we have previous Keeping Up with the Kardashian love stars Kris Jenner and Caitlyn Jenner, who formerly went by Bruce Jenner back when they were married. One thing I can tell you for sure is that at the beginning, their relationship seemed picture perfect. They had the typical solid match made in heaven type of romance, apparently. But this soon changed as Kris began growing more and more successful, with their family becoming just as famous. This is where Kris and the previously Bruce's relationship would experience major change. By the time the reality show hit its 4th season, it appeared Kris and Caitlyn couldn't really stand to be around each other. However, in probably the most surprising feat on today's list, both reality stars managed to make it all the way to season 8 before they finally put a wrap on their marriage. Still, this one was deemed by fans worldwide to be a marriage destined for failure for a long time coming. At number 3, we have comedian John Mulaney and his ex-wife and artist Anne Marie Tendler. The couple shared a 6-year-long relationship and a dog prior prior to the end of their romantic ties. John would very frequently make jokes regarding their relationship during his comedy stand-up routines, including one in 2018 where he referred to Anne as a dynamite female dog during his Kid Gorgeous special. We'll never know if the jokes on top of the other BS became too much for Anne in the end, but the pair officially headed for Splitsville in July. Their divorce announcement followed a few short months after John was admitted into rehab for substance abuse back in December 2020. After this, he would go on to date actress Olivia Munn, where he continued to stir up relationship news drama. The most shocking thing for fans of Olivia and John was the announcement of their then soon-to-be welcome child, born in November 2021. John has headlined just about every pop culture news outlet you can think of nowadays for the way he broke things off with Anne. At number 2, we have formerly married twosome Chris Pratt and Anna Faris. These two public icons are very heavily part of Hollywood's former it couples because everybody loved them. However, even with this, it seems that there were a few fans who weren't all that surprised by their eventual separation. In 2018, their divorce was announced from the original marriage in 2009, and Anna has been vocal about feeling as if she was forced to split with Chris after 8 years of marriage, but she has since re-fallen in love with cinematographer Michael Barrett. Chris is currently married to Hollywood royalty Katherine Schwarzenegger. Still, Anna and Chris first met during a 2007 table read where they're sharing starring roles in the film Take Me Home Tonight. In the end though, Anna became angry over fans' reactions to her split with Chris and the picture-perfect family image she tried her hardest to create that crumbled right before her eyes. At number 1, we have the world's least shocking couple to divorce to date, Miss Kim Kardashian and her rapping ex-husband Kanye West. With the spiral both their relationship and Kanye himself was headed into, it wasn't a shock to Kim Ye fans when the former celebrity couple decided to part ways. It seems non-shocking ends to marriages run deep in the Kardashian family too, as of course we need to honorably mention Khloe's failed marriage with her previous partner Lamar Odom. Still, Kim and Kanye have been dubbed as today's incoming split just bound to happen, according to fans and viewers of the Keeping Up with the Kardashian reality show. Apparently their fate was set in stone as far back as them tying the knot in 2014, according to many. Reportedly, the once powerhouse duo constantly butted heads in their later years due to their rising careers and demanding schedules. Words of Kim once stated, "He should have a wife that supports his every move and travels with him and does everything, and I can't." This was back during the series finale of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, where she cried during her confession. Ironically enough, Kim was also the one who filed for divorce back in February 2021. She later explained to Vogue that her reasoning for them separating was actually because she made the decision to put herself first. Quote, "Even if that created changes and caused my divorce, I think it's important to be honest with yourself about what really makes you happy." And while Kim Ye once held the title of star-crossed lovers in the beginning, Kanye is still intent on making their marriage work once more, even with Kim wanting to move on. Since then, Kanye had posted a number of direct Instagram uploads for Kim, with one stating, "God please bring our family back together," from a since deleted post. However, Kim seemed content with continuing forward, as she was soon romantically linked to and later confirmed to be dating her now ex-boyfriend Pete Davidson. I'm sure you know how these events have played out at this point, and if not, well, you're in for quite the wild ride.
Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Kanye West. After losing his billionaire status due to brand endorsement deals canceling their partnership with Kanye, after he started to spread hate speech across the internet, Kanye would soon be left with only $400 million to his name, which is a far cry from the $1.8 billion he used to be worth in the first half of 2022. To make matters even worse, after his divorce was finalized, he would then be ordered to pay Kim Kardashian another $2.4 million per year, which equals out to be $200,000 a month for child support. He also needs to split the cost of healthcare, security, and educational expenses with his ex-wife in the process. But the money altogether is just really strange, as Kim is already worth $1.7 billion. Not only would Kanye lose a large sum of his money, but he would also lose his $60 million home that he shared with Kim during their settlement. Altogether, after 6 years being married to Kanye, he would ultimately end up losing $2.1 billion in assets that he shared with his ex-wife, which included a mansion in California, in Calabasas, a Miami condo, and 2 ranches in Wyoming, art, vehicles, jewelry, and livestock. Number 9, Amber Heard. When Amber Heard filed for divorce from Johnny Depp in 2016 after being married to the actor for 15 months, she would later be awarded $7 million in the divorce settlement, which she said was which she said she would be donating to charity. But the process wasn't as clean cut, as the pair's court battles quickly turned ugly as Amber started to spread lies to ruin Johnny's career. The former couple then went on to spend most of 2020 and 2021 in court for a libel case against UK's The Sun. After Depp lost the suit and appeal in 2022, the pair would then return to court for a defamation trial Johnny brought against Amber over a 2018 article she penned for The Washington Post. When the court proceedings for the case kicked off on April 11, 2022, both actors made bombshell allegations of physical, emotional, and mental abuse against each other. On June 1st, a 7-person jury then reached a verdict and decided that Johnny proved his ex-wife defamed him. The jury then awarded Johnny with another $15 million in damages, though Amber would only have to pay $10 million due to Virginia law cap on punitive damages. She would win 1 of 3 defamation counts, and she was awarded $2 million in damages. Both parties appealed, but back in December, Amber announced she settled with her ex, and he donated the $1 million he received from her to charity. After all the expense, Amber is now worth negative $6 million. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? So don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Wiz Khalifa. While it's honestly pretty easy to look at numbers that were involved in Wiz Khalifa and Amber Rose's divorce, the numbers alone will make you wince. Thank God the couple had a prenup. Then Wiz Khalifa would have lost more than he was set to lose during their divorce. As per their prenup, Wiz Khalifa would be forced to fork out $1 million to pay Amber Rose, and he would be forced to pay Amber child support payments of $14,800. TMZ would then later report that Wiz was able to keep most of his assets, which included their shared home and 10 of their cars. It's also worth noting that there wasn't any hard feelings between the pair, as after their divorce they were both seen celebrating together in an X-rated club for one final hurrah. Number 7. Steven Spielberg. Just because Steven Spielberg was the greatest director alive, it didn't mean that he was immune to problems with his love life. At the height of his career in 1985, Steven probably made the biggest mistake of his life when he didn't make Amy Irving sign a proper prenup before marrying the actress. Amy, being known best for her role in Carrie, was considered to be one of the best actors of her generation. Even before the pair got married, they had a pretty rocky relationship, and at one point they had this pretty messy breakup that even caused Amy to lose out on a major role in Indiana Jones. The two finally did reconnect and got married in 1985, but by the time they filed for divorce and finalized everything, Steven would be ordered to pay Amy a large sum of $100 million, as at this time the judge saw it fit because the popular director was worth over $1 billion. So you're probably wondering how the actress was able to obtain so much money. Well, because when Steven wrote the prenup, he did it on a napkin, and the judge ruled out that the napkin document wasn't legally valid. Number 6. Janet Jackson. So we clearly live in a society that favors men. And if you really think about it, when we think of men in a divorce, we usually think that they're the ones that have to pay big when it comes to expenses. But apparently gender knows no bounds when it comes to money and fame, as some of the biggest female stars have lost millions of dollars during their split with their partner. When Janet Jackson secretly got married to songwriter Renee Elizondo in 1991, it was kind of a really big shock for everyone when he filed for a divorce in 1999. While many suspected that the pair had gotten married at some point, no one realized it was for that long and that it could fall apart also behind closed doors, especially since he was always around, with Renee producing some of her biggest hits, directing some of her music videos, and even using his hand to cover Janet on her infamous Rolling Stone cover shot. No one would know that later Janet would lose millions after the divorce was finalized. Renee filed to question its validity and ended up walking away from the marriage with a whopping sum of $10 million. Number 5. Scott Disick. Back in 2022, tensions between Scott Disick and the Kardashian-Jenner family would be at an all-time high after Scott took it upon himself to discuss the current situation going on with him and Kourtney, and his expression would also linger over how he felt about his family as a whole. The whole situation would come after Scott was left fuming because the family chose to leave him out of family events, something they've never chosen chosen to do before. On an episode of The Kardashians, fans would see Scott letting all of his feelings loose by telling the entire Kardashian family how he really feels about being left out of the family events. When Chris invited Scott to a diner for brunch, she would tell him that they were celebrating her birthday there because she was trying to spare Scott's feelings, because she was actually having a bigger party at her new home and didn't invite him. While Chris was lying to Scott, he quickly caught on that Chris was being untruthful with him. It would then quickly come out that she was having a party and didn't want to invite Scott because Kourtney and Travis would be there. Scott would then be very emotional because he felt like Chris was no longer treating him like family because he was no longer with Kourtney. To make matters even worse, Kendall left him out of her birthday festivities, and Scott having no family, he would be left feeling heartbroken that his only family has completely abandoned him. I'm mostly disappointed in Khloe in this situation, as she's had such a close relationship with Scott, and it's to the point that she just threw him to the side like he was nothing. Number 4. Harrison Ford. Once upon a time, Harrison Ford was married to Melissa Matheson, and they were the poster child of what people used to use as proof to explain that Hollywood stars could stick it out and make a long and happy marriage work. But unfortunately, all things good come to an end. After 21 years of marriage, when the two shocked the world and filed for divorce, Melissa would then walk away with not only just $85 million, but she would also walk away with a percentage of all future royalty earnings from films made during their marriage. This included his earnings that he made in the Indiana Jones franchise. The pair had met in 1979 on the set of Apocalypse Now. Melissa was working on a script and he had a small role. But it's surprising that Melissa was able to walk away with so much money. She was pretty successful on her own, as she was famous for writing E.T. for Steven Spielberg. While we all thought the couple were in love, we all failed to realize that things took a rocky turn for the couple in the last years of their relationship, with the trial separation and a lot of late night bar hopping for Harrison Ford. Number 3. Madonna. It's not like Madonna's ex-husband Guy Ritchie wasn't successful, as he's the man responsible for Sherlock Holmes and Snatch. However, he just wasn't as successful as Madonna, so he took everything he could get. When the pair first headed towards divorce court, it wasn't really a big surprise that he would ask to receive a pretty huge sum of money, because the guy was pretty much a gold digger from the start. Also, the pair did have a pretty rocky 7-year marriage. At one point during the time together, Madonna even pointed out that she was feeling incarcerated by Ritchie, as she felt like Ritchie was really interfering with her potential as an artist, and it was one of the reasons behind why she felt like the marriage had to go down. In the process, if Madonna knew how much her freedom would cost, she probably wouldn't have gotten married to Ritchie, as near the end she reportedly had to pay him $85 million in a divorce settlement. But honestly, if you have to take someone for that much money, it really says a lot about you, especially if you're a man taking that much money from a hardworking woman. Number 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's no big surprise that Maria Shriver would file for divorce from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, after she found out not only was he having an affair, but he was also having an affair with the help, and he even had a child with her. Among one of the most trickiest separations Hollywood has ever seen, 4 years after Maria filed for divorce, they would still be officially married, as sources would claim Arnold just kept delaying the inevitable. Maybe he knew that there was no way he was walking away from this divorce without paying big, and really, he would be right, since the pair did not have a prenup according to California law, which meant that Maria was entitled to half of his fortune. Feeling bad about the whole thing and how it ended, Arnold then threw in some extra cash as a good gesture. The exact number was never officially released, but estimates put Arnold's fortune around $500 million to $750 million, which means Maria likely got a huge settlement around $250 to $375 million. And coming in number 1 today, we have Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan got divorced to his first wife, Juanita Benoit, he paid one of the largest amounts we've seen someone ever pay in a divorce settlement. Shortly after the pair got married in 1989, they signed a post-nuptial agreement that would grant Juanita half of Jordan's fortune in a divorce. That means when the couple decided to go their separate ways in 2006, Juanita ended up receiving a whopping amount of $168 million. She also got their Chicago mansion, custody of their kids. However, after that many years, there's clearly a lot of respect between the two and they had no hard feelings, as when their divorce ended, it was clean and fair and none of them aired out their dirty laundry to the press or public. Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Brad Pitt. It seems like Angelina Jolie is on a mission to ruin Brad Pitt's career, just like Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp. Back in 2022, people obtained a reacted FBI report that Angelina anonymously submitted a Freedom of Information Act request. In the documents, the actress alleged to the authorities that while Brad was under the influence, he was menacing towards her and 6 of their kids on September 14th, 2016 during a flight from France to Los Angeles. The investigation would then be closed by November of 2022, and no charges were ever pursued, but that hasn't stopped Angelina from submitting more claims to the media. A source even close to Brad has claimed that both Brad and Angelina have had the documents in question for years, and by Angelina submitting the documents, it means that she is trying to revive issues that were solved to hurt Brad's career. With the documents being filed with evidence that wasn't really accurate or proven, Brad has been lucky enough to escape Angelina's hands of destruction for now, but it seems like she doesn't want to give up just yet, and we could see her ruin his career very shortly. Number 9, Tyga. At one point, there wasn't a song people didn't know when it came to Tyga's career, but after he and Kylie Jenner split, it seems like a lot of people chose to abandon Tyga altogether, which is pretty sad as he's an amazing artist. It seems like now when his songs do come on, everybody in the room goes, oh my god, I forgot about this song, and it proves after his relationship ended with Kylie, he became pretty irrelevant. Even back in 2017, Kylie reportedly had to ask Kanye West to help Tyga with his stalling career because she saw her ex was struggling after the split and she felt really bad for him. An inside source close to Kylie would then reveal to Hollywood Life that Kylie doesn't want to see her ex fall apart just because they weren't together. Once Kylie realized that Tyga's career was stalling after their breakup, she was a little concerned, so she reached out to Kanye to see what they could do to revive Tyga's career. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Number 8, Rupert Saunders. When British director Rupert Saunders was chosen to direct Snow White and the Huntsman for his feature film debut, it seemed like a start of a pretty promising career for Rupert. But just weeks after the film lackluster theatrical debut, he and Kristen Stewart were captured in a compromising position together. While both came out to issue public apologies about the affair, as Kristen cheated on her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson, Rupert was unfaithful to his wife of 10 years, Liberty Ross. While Kristen's career was able to continue on throughout the scandal, it would take Rupert years to secure a second feature of his directorial gig with his 2017 Ghost in a Shell, which was crushed by critics, by the way. At the time, he was also still imploring the public to forgive and forget, but even when he came out to say, everyone makes mistakes and I am bound to make many more mistakes and I wouldn't expect my life to be exciting if I didn't, people still couldn't forgive and forget, and it's caused his art in the directing field to come to a complete halt. Number 7, Kris Humphries. It seems like if you enter into the Kardashian family, in even the smallest of capacities, your reputation is at risk. I mean, just ask Jordan Woods and Scott Disick. But if you need more proof, you can always look at the long list of ex-friends, ex-stylists, ex-boyfriends, and ex-husbands. And this is exactly what happened to NBA star Kris Humphries, who became a laughingstock of both Hollywood and the basketball scene after his highly publicized marriage to Kim Kardashian ended after just 72 days. Just after, in December 2011, Kris would find himself being booed during basketball games, and he would be put into a position where he bounced from team to team before landing with the Philadelphia 76ers, but his time with the team wouldn't last long as he would be waived from their roster in October 2017. And that would be the last time Kris would professionally dribble a basketball on the court. That same year, Kim would then sit down in an interview with Watch What Happens Live where she would admit that she knew while she was on her honeymoon with Kris that their relationship wasn't going to work out. Now it seems like Kris has found a new passion in life as he co-owns several Five Guy burger shops and is a franchisee of a salad eatery. Number 6, Robin Thicke. After After Robin Thicke dominated the charts for the entire summer of 2013 with his hit single Blurred Lines, Robin's career essentially died overnight after his wife Paula Patton filed for divorce in October 2014, citing irreconcilable differences as the cause for their split. According to TMZ, Robin tried to win back Paula by releasing his sappy album Paula in 2014, but it was apparently a flop with its namesake and his fans, as the album only sold 530 copies in its debut week in the UK. And from there, things only got worse for Robin, as months after filing to the end of their marriage, Paula not only accused Robin of cheating on her with several different women, but she also accused him of physical and emotional abuse, infidelity, and even said he had an addiction to substances. Then during the couple's bitter custody battle for their son Julian, Paula then asked the court to grant her a temporary restraining order against Robin, which was ultimately granted until the courts ordered them to have shared custody of their son. Number 5. Meg Ryan. During Meg Ryan's heyday, she was one of America's most in-demand screen sweethearts, as she went on to nab the romantic lead in a slew of successful pictures that included Sleepless in Seattle, When Harry Met Sally, and You Got Mail. But just as she was rising to the top to be the girl next door, her image would be shattered after rumors started to claim that she was having an affair with Proof of Life co-star Russell Crowe. The tabloid's frenzied affair was then publicly perceived as the reason for her divorce from her husband of 9 years, and what led to the serious decline in her popularity. Later, Meg would deny her fling with Russell for being the reason behind her divorce when she told Harper Bazaar, "I definitely have moments of wanting to straighten it all out and tell everyone what really went down, but you know, who would I be proving anything to?" Though there may be plenty of blame to go around, Meg's affair was the beginning of the end of her career, and her household name would be left behind in the 90s. And number 4, we have Ryan Philippe. Ryan Philippe's relationship with Reese Witherspoon was intense when the pair starred as the romantic leads in the 1999 romantic drama Cruel Intentions, and attracted a generation of followers deeply invested in the couple's marriage and their 2 kids. Many thought their love would be a happily ever after, but when their union fell apart 8 years later, many fans would be furious after rumors emerged and claimed that Ryan had cheated on Reese. That very same year, Ryan allegedly stepped out with his stop-loss co-star, Abby Cornish. Even though Reese and Ryan went on to be successful co-parents for their kids, Ryan's career hasn't quite revived from all the negative press associated with the pair's breakup. And seemingly overnight, he lost the Hollywood heartthrob status he once boasted in films such as I Know What You Did Last Summer and Flags of Our Fathers. Since Ryan has grown weary of the public's cruel criticism, he once told Howard Stern in 2010 that he was tired of being blamed and that he didn't feel like he deserved all the scrutiny as things just happen. Number 3, Jude Law. Jude Law's affair with his children's nanny became a true celebrity spectacle after the actor's secret went public in 2005. It would eventually cause his team to force him to issue an apology to his then fiancée, Sienna Miller, for the affair. In his apology, he would say, "I just want to say I'm deeply ashamed and upset I've hurt Sienna and the people close to us. There is no defense for my action, which I sincerely regret." While this wouldn't be the first time he's been accused of infidelity with his partners in the past, the high-profile nature of his relationship with Miller caused more damage to Jude's career, as before his transgressions, Jude enjoyed an A-list status in leading roles such as Cold Mountain and Closer. But after the affair, it took him many years to recoup his mainstream appeal by the way of Sherlock Holmes. While his career seems to be doing just fine these days, it's probably just because he's been keeping his personal life pretty low-key. Number 2, Tiger Woods. Few professional golfers have earned the kind of household name status of Tiger Woods, and even fewer have watched their reputations fade away as they sunk into the mud like Tiger did in 2009, after his extramarital affairs were exposed, after Tiger's wife at the time, Ellen Nordegren, gave birth to the couple's second child. The tabloids would unearth one of Tiger's relationships with another woman. After Tiger lost his family-friendly face, he would lose millions in endorsement deals, and he was even to blame for billions of shareholder losses. Even his golf game suffered as a result of his personal drama. Back in 2013, Woods would briefly recover his career, but his personal activities tarnished his image again after new allegations surfaced and claimed he cheated on beloved Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn. And while most of the public has forgotten about Tiger's past transgressions, it seems like his reputation may still be holding him back from success. And coming in number 1 today, we have Ned Fulmer. So ex-BuzzFeed employee Ned Fulmer is known because of his role with the popular YouTube channel The Try Guys, as he helped them grow an audience to tune of millions on BuzzFeed's publication platform before he and his colleagues decided to go independent. In addition to the cheating, entertaining content with his colleagues, Ned went on to brand himself as the ultimate family guy just after he and his wife Ariel marked their 5th anniversary in 2017. He shared that he had no doubt about picking her as his partner, as it was love at first sight. However, in September 2022, Ned would prove otherwise, as just over 10 years after the couple tied the knot, the house that Ned built came tumbling down, as it would be exposed that Ned had cheated on his wife with a member of the staff. The cheating allegation was then later confirmed by Ned himself when he put out an Instagram statement saying, "Family should have always been my priority, but I lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship." The Try Guys then went on to remove Ned from the platform and later announced that Ned wouldn't be making any appearances on the pre-recorded material going forward. Number 10. Pete Davidson and Cassie David. Cassie David highlighted her experience dating Pete Davidson in the book No One Asked for This. In the book, Cassie explained she met Pete when her dad Larry David hosted an episode on Saturday Night Live back in 2016. The two then started dating soon after. Pete would get a cartoon portrait of Cassie tattooed on his arm and a tattoo of her name on his ring finger, followed by her favorite emoji. In the book, Cassie claimed she was fearful to end things with Pete due to his sensitive state of his mental health, but decided they needed an initial breakup because she was unable to convince him that she loved him. A few days later, she would call him back and say she made a mistake, but Pete said he was the happiest he's ever been, and then would dump her for good 2 days later in a text message so he could get with Ariana Grande. I mean, it is Ariana Grande, so I don't blame him. However, at least give the person a benefit of the doubt and do it in person. At number 9, we have Katy Perry and Russell Brand. In Katy Perry's heartfelt documentary Part of Me, the singer admitted that the couple's hectic work schedules and her not being ready for children led to the failure of the couple's marriage. Who can forget when watching the documentary, Katy got a text message from Russell before going on stage for her California Dream Tour. The scene viewers would watch would be devastating as they watched their favorite pop icon break down in front of the camera. Although Russell decided to take nothing from her during the divorce, he would leave her with a broken heart, and then she would later write about it in her song Wide Awake. Russell then later said Katy being on tour made his heart grow colder, and he also came to the realization he didn't want to be part of the lavish lifestyle anymore. Number 8. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Now, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's breakup has been one of the messiest breakups Hollywood has ever seen, mainly because they're split back in 2016, and the drama is still going on. Now, with Brad Pitt recently opening up about his life after the messy split from Angelina, it makes you question, what kind of person is Angelina Jolie really? Angelina would file for divorce from Brad Pitt following a heated altercation during a private plane ride. The flight would lead her to accuse Brad of a and during this time period, he would spend time at the studio to work on his art skills. Now, his artwork has allowed him to focus on his life and where it's all gone wrong with his relationship. It also allowed the actor to realize which friendships made him feel safe. Now, Angelina and Brad are currently involved in a court battle in which Angelina has brought up some serious accusations against Brad. Despite the two finalizing their divorce back in 2019, the two remain in a custody battle over their French winery. At number 7, we have Iggy and Nick Young. After Iggy split from NBA player Nick Young, the star would come out to say that she broke up with Nick when she found out he had brought another woman into their home while she was away. Let's just say Nick thought Iggy wouldn't be watching the security footage, but she did, and he was caught. It was later revealed that Nick also cheated on Iggy with the mother of his child, and that mother would soon be expecting her second child with Nick's kid. He definitely did her dirty on that one. Iggy then took to Twitter later to say, "It's never easy to part ways with the person you planned your entire future with." Later, a video would be leaked by Nick's teammate that would highlight Nick bragging about cheating on Iggy with other women. At number 6, we have J-Lo and A-Rod. Now, remember that time when J-Lo was going to settle down with A-Rod, and then it never happened? Shortly after J-Lo ended her engagement to A-Rod, Jennifer found herself back in the arms of Ben Affleck. Now, this would come 17 years after Ben and her called off their initial engagement, so he could get with Jennifer Garner. Ben and Jennifer would pack on the PDA all around the world, and they were planning it for the long haul this time. Jennifer would then later say A-Rod can't take a hit. An insider would then say she gets how Alex feels after they spent 5 years together, and that they had plans to marry, and everyone was rooting for them, but at the end, it was done. All J-Lo wanted for him was to move on, and she wished him the best. At number 5, we have Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. Now, the breakup between Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber was extremely awkward for the teens because for the longest time, they couldn't seem to quit each other. The pair both started dating on and off from the year 2010 to 2015. They were also seen hanging out just before he got engaged to Hailey Baldwin, which caused a lot of speculation that Hailey stole Justin from Selena. Now, Hailey did come clean in the Call Her Daddy podcast recently to say none of those rumors were true, and that she and Selena were on good terms. The model and singer were also just captured in a photo together at a gala, which shows the two are on good terms with one another. At number 4, we have Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde. So Jason and Olivia's breakup has been on every tabloid headline for the last couple of weeks. On November 13th, 2020, news would break that Olivia and Jason had decided to part ways. However, an inside source would then reveal the couple had actually split beforehand. Now, Jason has come out to say Olivia left him for her new boyfriend, Harry Styles. However, Olivia has stated that the two split long before she got with her new boyfriend, and it's simply because they fell in love and she didn't see a path moving forward with Jason any longer. Now, with the nanny coming out with some allegations and Olivia getting served while on set, this breakup has seemed to gotten really messy, and it will probably continue as the couple dispute over the custody of their 2 children. At number 3, we have Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes used to be the ultimate power couple. However, due to Tom's religious beliefs, their relationship would dissolve in a blink of an eye. Now, Cruise has been involved with Scientology for quite some time now, and in 2012, Katie had to use a calculated plan to escape her marriage from Tom Cruise. She even planned to gain full custody of her child. Katie had to do this in order to escape the Church of Scientology's control. Katie then would be granted full custody of her child, and the court would then state her child had to have no connections with the Church of Scientology. So it makes you wonder what goes on in the Church of Scientology that made Katie want to run and protect her daughter from it. Number 2, we have Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. After a long time on and off, the couple announced their split in 2019. Things got a little messy between the two, as Miley quickly moved on with MTV reality star Caitlyn Carter. Miley was out having fun with her new girlfriend, while Liam was left feeling heartbroken when photos of Caitlyn and Miley started to surface. Liam completely hit the roof, and it would be the last straw for the couple's relationship. After finding out Miley's relationship with Caitlyn, Liam would soon shortly file for a divorce, and shortly after, Miley would then split from Caitlyn and move on with songwriter Cody Simpson. However, those two split back in 2020. It seems like Miley wasn't ready to settle down at the time, and hopefully soon the artist can find someone she truly loves. At number 1, we have Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Kim filed for divorce in February of 2021, almost 7 years after being married to Kanye. Ye hasn't taken it well at all. Ultimately, the divorce led to Kanye's downward spiral, and due to recent events, you can tell his overall mental state has been extremely effective. When news first broke of Kim getting with the comedian Pete Davidson, Kanye lost his cool and began harassing the two stars to the point it drove a wedge between Pete and Kim, and they had to end their relationship. Kanye has even gone as far to say that Kim won't let him see the kids, and he's even been banned from going to family events. But I mean, with all the actions he's been doing lately, I don't blame Kim or her family from wanting to hide their kids from witnessing what's truly going on with Kanye.